Hello BookTube. This video is just going to be a mini haul of three books I bought at the beginning of this month, and they're finally now all three have arrived. And they're also books that I'm going to be reading over the course of this month and next month. And the first book, which I'll be reading either next week or the week after, will be Lost Causes by Richard Nichols, which is a spy thriller, very much inspired by Ian Fleming and John Buchan and writers like that, who I'm a big fan of. Richard is actually a YouTuber, and he runs a YouTube channel called Red Pill Fiction Factory. A link to which I'll leave down below. I should say, just to declare an interest, as it were, I have sort of messaged back and forth with Richard because he's a big fan of James Bond, and particularly the James Bond novels, and reading and in our sort of messages and reading stuff about this book. This book is very much sort of one of the inspirations for it was the sort of way that the Bond films in recent years have gone, where Richard, and I should say I agree with this, that they have really sort of fallen off a cliff. And so this book is in some ways Richard's attempt to bring Bond back to the way it should be, as a way sort of as a correction to that sort of stuff. I say bring Bond back to it, bring sort of the story that you should be getting in Bond films and Bond stories generally. So I'm going to be looking forward to reading that. The next book is one that I will be reading at some point in July. I don't know at this stage when in July I'll be reading it, but it's a short biography of Robert Blatchford, Tory socialist Robert Blatchford, and Merry England by Tony Judge. Blatchford is not very well remembered today, but he was one of sort of the big movers and shakers in founding the Labour Party. He's only got two other biographies. The first one, which was written before the First World War and is impossible to get hold of, and the other one, which was written after his death in the late 40s. After his death, he was born in 1859 and died in 1943 at the age of 91, 92. And he was a journalist, and he was writing right up until the end when he died. The second biography was written by a friend of his, and I've seen it online, but it's really expensive. So I would one day like to get hold of those two and read them, but that's not likely anytime soon. So this is sort of a fortunate thing to find. And so I'm going to be reading that in July. Also, Tony George has done quite a few books that look interesting, and I'm definitely going to order a couple more. There's one other book he's done called The Labour Party and the British Empire, 1900 to 1970, which looks really interesting, and I'm definitely going to get that and read that sometime soon. So I'll be reading that in July at some point, but I don't know when. I should say that this and the next book are things I'm going to be fitting around the event that Roy Read Anything is organising about reading Hugh Walpole's work in July called Rogue July. And the next one is actually part of another reading event run by Sean D. Standfast, which has started in March and is going on through the year, which is to each month read a different Clifford D. Simak novel. And this July's pick is All Flesh Grass. I didn't read the Simak book for this month, June, because of various things getting in the way. But I have read the first three picks, which were City, Enchanted Pilgrimage, and Way Station, and I enjoyed all three of them. I do like Clifford Simak's style. Of the three I've read so far, City is my favourite, which Sean D. Standfast isn't that surprised because it's his favourite as well, and I think it is one of the best things of the things I've read of Simak that Simak seemed to have written, that Simak wrote, I should say. And so I'm looking forward to reading this. It's set, as with Way Station, in Wisconsin, around an area that Simak grew up, and that's where there's sort of similar same. That's a setting Simak used in Way Station. It was really effective in the description of the landscape and the way and the area in which the character was living was really well done and really enjoyable to read. So I'm going to look forward to reading this. And so with that I'll be reading in July, but as I say, I'll be fitting this around the Walpoles I'll be reading in July. So that's all. That's all of the books. as I say, I'll be reading them, the Richard Nichols, sometime in the next 2 weeks, and then Simak and the Blatchford biography sometime in July. So with that, BookTube, I'll say goodbye, and I will see you later.